Jujutsu Kaisen has some of the best choreographed fights that I've seen in a while, not just in manga format, but is displayed in the anime even better than the manga. And these are my top 5 favorite fights from Jujutsu Kaisen. This is my own opinion, so don't take anything I say in this video as fact. This is just a fun video to narrow down my personal top 5. And tell me yours in the comments below what your top 5 is. Now, let's get into the video. Coming in number 5, we have Anonymity Yuji versus Mahito. The emotional weight of this fight was heavy. With Junpei's death before the fight even started, Yuji wanted to kill Mahito, and lost all senses of reasoning. But when Anonymity made it onto the scene, he helped Yuji come back to his senses, and the two were able to significantly weaken Mahito before he used his domain expansion. This fight meant a lot. We saw a turn in Yuji that showed a side of him we've never seen before, a darker side, and gave it to a dynamic that would be revisited during Shibuya. And the animation of this fight in the anime was terrific. It looked splendid. It looked great in the manga, and it looks great in the anime. And whenever we get this the rematch, which may or may not be on this list, I'm not going to confirm or deny. But whenever that fight gets animated, it's gonna look great. Coming in number 4 is Megami vs. Fingerbearer during the origin of the Beatings arc. During the earlier parts of Kaisen, I felt like we weren't getting enough action with Megami. But what made the origin of the Beatings arc a personal favorite of mine is Megami's fight with the Fingerbearer. We see Megami reach a little margin of his massive potential in the form of domain expansion Chimera Shadow Garden. In the anime, this scene is even elevated with beautiful animation, crisp music. It makes the scene a personal favorite in the entire series of mine. Coming in number 3 is Yuji vs. Choso in the Shibuya Incident arc. What makes this fight so good is the choreography in the manga. I mentioned this earlier, but Akutami Sensei's choreography is the best that I've seen in any new gen series. I think this is Akutami at her best during this time. I personally believe that this is Akutami not at her prime. I think the fights in the Cold game could one-up her work as an artist. This fight helped to detail Yuji's fighting experience as a sorcerer and helped show us his progress since Chapter 1. I could talk about this fight without the memory that Choso received and had in turn healed to the sorcerer's side. All around a very good fight, and I can't wait to see this animated. Coming in number 2 is a rematch between Yuji and Mahito. This fight was just tragic, but death of Nami started this fight off between sorcerer and cursed spirit. And with a revelation that Nobara could hold her own against a clone of Mahito without his curse technique, Idle Transfiguration, it helps to illustrate that Yuji isn't alone. But we know Akutami is a sucker to make her characters go through her ringer. And as we see Nobara and Yuji reunite, Mahito is able to trick Nobara into getting close to use Idle Transfiguration, and lands a hand on her face and explodes her out of her socket, almost killing her. I say almost because I'm holding on to hope that Nobara is still alive, as it has been outright said that she's dead. But with the assumed death of Nobara in Yuji's eyes, he falls into despair, questioning his own reasons for living. But it isn't without the help of Todo that he's able to take on Mahito. And with Todo's hand being blown off, Yuji is able to make Mahito run a second time. And even though Mahito was saved by Kenjaku, this showed me that Yuji has the capabilities to take on special grade. And as a rematch, this was perfect, with the development of Yuji taking the spotlight, and a balance of tragedy and hope. There's nothing else we can get from a fight. I put this above the original fight with Mahito, Nanami, and Yuji because I feel like this was a perfect mirror to that fight. They both start off as tragedies, that being Junpei and Nanami. Both have Yuji just accelerate his development and help to, and are both opposites of each other. Yuji is angered at pretty much everything and at Mahito directly, and he falls into despair because pretty much he murdered a bunch of people. Why wouldn't he be depressed? And plus, he saw his Nanami pretty much get his upper half just completely just torn apart. He thinks Nobara is dead, so he falls into despair. But we know our boy Toto Bestofrendo got him, and yeah, this was just a great fight. But if there's a fight that I think will break the internet above all other things, it's number one. Coming in at number one, Jugo versus Sukuna. This fight showed us Sukuna's skill of power, with him literally creating a crater in Shibuya, and just to display his place in the story. Not to be used in a sense like Kurama, but there are consequences every single time he's let out of Yuji. Maybe a character's death, or him literally creating a crater in Shibuya. And just to display his place in the story, you can't use Sukuna as a tool. This isn't even a fight. All it is Sukuna manhandling Jogo and messing around with him, just like how Gojo did. The emotional weight is when Sukuna tells Jogo he's strong in the cursed afterlife while he's being set ablaze by Sukuna's flame arrow technique. All around, the beautiful choreography and hype moments make this fight a standout among the rest. That's not even getting into fan animations of this fight. Whenever Mappa gets to this, I can see them handling it as well as when Sukuna mangled Jogo. But that was the list. Tell me yours in the comments below. I would love to know. And if you've made it this far, please consider subscribing, leaving a like to get anime and manga related content weekly. And it's been your boy Blind, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.